Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of the He Response to Your Challenge. Amelia said, impatiently waiting, not going to be late today. I love it. We were here at 12. Chelsea's coming. She's having trouble getting on, so she's coming, though, and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. I'm so excited to be here with you guys today. I'm so excited for day 2 of the challenge. Hope you guys can see me okay. Hello, everyone hopping on. Please write in the comments where you are in the world. I'm officially back in Austin. We left at what time this morning to get here? Like 6 something. Was on the road all morning and really excited for this. And now I'm here. And here's Chelsea. Amazing. Hello, Claudine, Julie. Hello, everyone. There's Chelsea add to stream. Hi, boo.
Hi, babe. Sorry for that delay. How are you?
And we can hear you.
Yay.
So everyone, this is Chelsea, who I told you guys about yesterday, and I'm so excited to have you here. She is an incredible love coach. If you didn't hear what I shared on the live yesterday, I'll share it again. Chelsea has this beautiful gift with helping people specifically around the area of love. And for the longest time, she tried to ignore those gifts. And she was like, oh, never do that. She said she'd never do relationship coaching. But I was sharing yesterday how I believe because there was so much power in you around that, and it was about opening up to that power and allowing yourself to play in it. So I'm so grateful that you to open yourself up to that, and that I get to bring you here today and allow you to share your wisdom with everyone.
Thank you so much for having me. I know it's really fun to think back to all those conversations. I would be like, you couldn't pay me enough to sit and listen to someone's relationship problem. And now I'm like, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Let's shift it and let's make magic.
Exactly. And it's one of those things where I'm so grateful for my marriage. I've been with my husband for 8 years. And like every time that I have those moments of gratitude, I'm like, I want other women to get to access this that want it too. And so it's totally coming from that place of like wanting to give what I have. And so it brings me so much joy. So thank you for having me. And thank you guys for being here. I'm so excited.
You're welcome, babe. And hello, everyone hopping on. We see a bunch of you hopping on. Welcome, welcome. Comment where you are in the world. Rebecca said, girl, you know where I'm at. ATX, yes, she's here in Austin. Lindsay's in Maryland. Gracie's in London. Wow. Continue to share. Wendy's in LA. Amelia's in Maine. Claudine's in Germany. Julie's in Florida. This is so neat to see people all over the world.
Wow. London, Canada.
So by the end of this live, everyone here is going to have a challenge step. Hello, everyone hopping on. A challenge step that is going to transform, unfold you into the woman who allows her dream partner to come into her life. And the reason that happens is because you're taking on a challenge. And it was so beautiful reading everyone's comments yesterday from everyone doing the challenge. And with the simple act of what the challenge was, right? Declaring that you're ready for your partner and stepping into a way of being that allows it in. It was so cool to read all the posts about the resistance and the blocks and the fears and all of the things that came up. So know that as we are challenging you, there's an opportunity to access bravery. And in accessing that bravery, you are opening up a whole new world for yourself, which is where your partner lives. So we acknowledge you for taking the step. If you are listening to this, you're like, I didn't do it. We acknowledge you to do it today. It's so crazy. I've been up for so long right now. I keep thinking I'm like, they only have a few hours left. The day's over. But it's actually only like 12 o'clock where I'm at. It feels much later.
I know how you feel.
So by the end of this live, we will also announce the winner from yesterday. We have a winner. And in order to win, you simply just go in and post that you completed the day of the challenge day and what opened up for you. And then Germany, my lovely assistant, goes in and randomly picks the winner. And then for the person who won yesterday, she won the Date Smart guide. The person who will win today will be Chelsea's Feminine Embodiment Workshop. And then tomorrow will be the Manifest Your Evolved Man course. So It's also to hold you accountable, to celebrate you. And with the he responds to you challenge, the he responds to you statement, and as you guys are embodying and learning this, I'm really excited for today's topic and today's theme specifically, because this, as you really embody this and you look at this and you play around with this, there is finally the opportunity for him to come into your life. So when Chelsea and I are designing this, we always look at how can we make the biggest difference for you guys, and today is a big piece of that. So I will go ahead and hand it over to Chelsea.
Yay, I'm so excited. Yes, I love a few moments ago you said the word open, and I'm like, yes, that's so much about today's topic. We're going to be talking about that openness and how he is responding to your openness or your lack of openness. And openness is like, to me, I just got this vision of you really hold the key. So when you're open, you're like shedding the barriers to this love that wants to come in. So for all of you here, I know that you have that dream relationship that you've defined in a way yesterday. You've declared that. So that relationship has been wanting to come into your life since before you probably even knew you wanted it. Like, you are calling that in. It's who you already are on so many levels, but we have free will, right? So our openness is us putting the key in the keyhole and turning that key and then opening the door to allowing what is really natural for you to have, which is this love, right? To actually come into your life really seamlessly, really effortlessly. And so today we want to define what that openness is and give you some really tangible examples of how do I know if I'm open or not? What does it look like to be open? And also go into some sneaky ways where we might think we're really open, but actually we're not fully open. So what I love so much about this whole challenge and this whole topic of he responds to you is it's putting the power back in you. And it's helping you recognize that, like, nothing is outside of your control. And I'm like, I might not want to use that phrase because we do want to, like, let me rewind that phrase. Rebecca knows that I have some controlling tendencies. Who doesn't, right? And so that's something that I help a lot of my clients surrender. So what I meant to say is something like, nothing is outside of you, right? So whatever it is you're wanting to create, you really are the source of that. So this dream relationship is not, like, the destiny of your love life is in your hands. It's in your heart. And to me, that is such a breath of fresh air, especially if we've been struggling, or especially if we've had loss in our love life and, feeling maybe disempowered around that. I really hope that you guys are feeling the lightness of what we're really trying to instill in you, which is, wait, I'm like a sorceress. Like, I am creating this experience, and I have the control. I do have the control to create exactly what I want. And so your openness is a massive, massive, massive first step around allowing that in. And so ways that you can embody this openness would be, as you're moving through life, making eye contact, right? Flirting, and really having open body language. So versus like here's an example. I do this sometimes, so I catch myself. Like, you're waiting in line for your coffee and you're just like on your phone, or like your body's all like contorted and like you're closed off because you're in public standing in line and you maybe feel awkward or whatever. That would be an example of, like, this person's not open. This person's not gonna notice that really cool guy over there is looking at her, right? Or not gonna notice this potential friend next to her that she could make, right? So that open body language, it's like you're approachable, you're available. And I think I mentioned this, but eye language. Rebecca and I'm pretty sure, can read each other's minds with our eyes. Eye contact along with that. So, like, really slowing down and taking the time to connect with the people in the room. And also, when you are interacting with a man, like, giving him the space and time to ask you out, like lingering, giving him that space versus just like having an encounter and then be like, okay, bye, and like rushing off because you're awkward and nervous. So these are some examples of being open. Do you have any examples you want to add to that, Rebecca?
I love this. I'm thinking about where one thing that's coming to mind, and hello everyone, oh my God, Kelsey's here. Amelia says she's been way more open since the shift experience. That's so awesome. The importance of this, right? Like everyone just drop one. Hi, Sunita's on here. Jackie's on here. Everyone drop one word in the comments. Like, how do you want to feel in your dream relationship? Like, what do you want the experience to be like? And everyone on the replay, say it out loud. I don't care if you're in a cafe, if you're sitting with your elbow, opening your bar, whoever, say hot, whatever the word is, open. So, or connected. So what's just coming to mind is, remember yesterday where we talked about like what you want to see in this world, the type of relationships that you want to see, the unions that you want to see. When you look down and you see the bigger vision and what you want to see in this world, and then recognizing that you have the power to create that. And when, you know, and Chelsea and I working with literally thousands of women, you guys, one of the big things women always say is they want to experience connection. Yeah, Carolina says connected. Gracie says adored. And think about it. And Amelia says deep connection. The only way that deep connection can take place is with a willingness to be open. If we're not open, there's no room for it. So the woman who feels like, oh, she feels alone, or she feels like men don't really see her for who she is, or all these things, there's usually a lack of openness on her end. So when we say he responds to you, and like Chelsea reminded us, the power's in you. So where Chelsea's giving you these extremely great tangible examples of being open, it's all connects to the bigger vision of what you do want. It's an embodied practice now that then allows for that relationship that you desire to be birthed from, right? It's not about when you're finally in the partnership. It's actually an opportunity now to start to be that open puzzle piece, right? Like Velcro, like a magnet, right? Match for what it is you're wanting. So really remembering the deep why is what's coming up as you're sharing these like really powerful examples that everyone gets to practice.
I love that. Yeah, I think it's like just bringing awareness the next time that you're in a public space, or the next time you're on a date, right? And like, okay, how do I feel right now? Am I open? Am I open to letting this person in? Am I open to sharing who I am? So like in a dating experience example, I think it's like, where are you allowing the conversation to go? Are you staying surface level? I wasn't planning to give these examples, but this would be another, thing to think about of, am I being open or not, right? Like with that kind of love you want, with that kind of depth and connection that you want, you get to be that on these dates. You get to be that in the texting conversations on the apps, and then you get to be that on the dates, right? So not just when you're, in the line at the grocery store, at the cafe, but bringing that openness into, I wanted to just touch on those examples too. And just having that, one eye turned inward, one eye turned outward, like, am I being open? Because your openness is so magnetic, right? When you're not open, I find that people can get intimidated by a woman who's not open, because it's almost like, does she want me to ask her questions? Does she not? Like, you're sending mixed signals, right? You might be like smiling on this date, but if you're not being fully open, then you're going to be, again, he's responding to that, right? So there could be a guy who's like really interested in asking you out, but that lack of openness is intimidating or makes him feel like she doesn't want anything to do with me, right? And I think that this is something, it's crazy that we're not taught this, like so young, but I feel like what I was taught was act super disinterested, be as cold as possible, have no, I know Rebecca and I have so many examples of this, be as cold as possible, like literally pretend like he's the person in the room that doesn't exist. And that's somehow gonna have him chase you down and like ask you out. And it's so sad that we're taught those games, because that's really not it. And if that's how you end up attracting someone, they're probably not exactly what you're looking for. If someone's gonna respond to that cold energy, right?
That would be the wounded little boy who didn't get attention from mom, that then's like, I need it. But then once they get it, that's where that pattern happens. So, and can you see the comments, Chelsea?
Yes, I do. I'm seeing that. Amelia says, yep, I was just like so focused on talking that I kind of forget to look over here. Gracie says, bringing awareness. And Amelia says, yes, I felt this way when closed. Yes, I'm so glad this is resonating. Talks with Mo says, what does that look like being open? I can give some examples. It's such a great question. I'm not sure if you just hopped on, but to me, I think that it's truly slowing down when you're interacting with people, or even as you're, like I said, running errands and going about your life, slowing down enough to where there's a space to connect with the people that are around you, right? And slowing down enough to have the time to acknowledge with your eye contact and with a smile or with a wink the people around you, right? So openness is really you being emotionally available and it's you being present. And we also talked about open body language. So and I laughed, like I have a tendency to have closed body language because I sometimes can be socially awkward, which is funny, where like I'll like notice that my body is as small as it could possibly be. And it's like, oh, that's not openness. Openness is like uncrossed arms, uncrossed legs, you know, even like palms facing forward or upward, right? So that is all sending cues to people. And honestly, I love these examples because they're everything. And I think we can all think to moments where someone gave us, like shared their openness with us and we felt so good and we felt so invited, right? Where it's like, oh, the barista like smiled, took the time to smile and asked us a question, right? But also it's a vibe underneath all of that. It's a vibe and it's an energy. And we're going to talk about that as well, of like, you could kind of go through the motions of these open cues and still in your heart of hearts not be open. At the end of the day, like that's what we want to resolve. That's my intention to support you in resolving today. If there's any part of you, and we're going to go there in a minute, if there's any part of you that has not truly fully been open on a heart level to letting the love that you want come in. So that's a tender place. I know it's tender for a lot of people. So I'm excited to go there and support you guys with that. But I did have something else I think I want to talk about first. I'm going to check the comments. Gracie says, I remember Chelsea talking about her hubby and how in the beginning you were not interested or at least had resistance. Can you speak on how you turned that around? That's a good question. Do you want me to answer that now, Rebecca?
Yeah, that's
cool. So just to kind of clarify that, I love that you're interested in this and asking this question. I think that where you might have heard me talk about that was at that point in my life, I hadn't had like that kind of high quality. I mean, everyone is high quality. We're all human beings that are worthy, but I hope you know what I mean when I say that. I hadn't experienced true divine masculine energy coming towards me, where he was genuinely like interested in me and my essence and my heart, and not just me sexually and all those things. I know that this came up yesterday for some of the women as well. And at that point, I hadn't fully resolved my own self-worth issues. Like I was still in that healing journey. And so there was a large part of me, my wounded self, that was repulsed at first on some level by him, because that was like a higher frequency I hadn't been calibrated to yet, that ultimately he really helped me calibrate to. And there was some space between when we met and when we actually got into a relationship. There was actually 2 years. And in those 2 years, I was doing a lot of deep healing and spiritual work on myself to be able to receive that kind of love. And so talk about openness, right? I wasn't fully open at that time to receive that kind of love and that kind of masculine energy. Also, there were a lot of circumstances going on that contributed to that. And it was, I do believe in divine timing in addition to choice. But yeah, so there was that part of me that was like, oh, like, who are you? Like, what are you doing? Like, why are you so focused on me? And what is this like really deep eye contact you're giving me? Like, and then there was a large part of me who was like, oh my God, this feels amazing. And like, I've wanted this my whole life. But ultimately, the parts of me that weren't open to that had to come to the surface and be resolved in order to actually let him in. So I hope that resonates with you guys, and I hope that answers your question. I think it was Gracie who asked that question. Feel free to ask a follow-up, but I'm going to catch up on some of these comments. Rebecca, did you have anything that you wanted to say?
Jackie and Wendy, I love their, and Gracie, I love that. First of all, I love Gracie's, your presence, because to remember that experience with Chelsea and to bring that question now, I just want to acknowledge your presence, because that's also a beautiful superpower in partnership. So that's awesome. And then Jackie and Wendy asked a similar thing, which I know would be great to touch on because I'm sure many women can relate to it. And it's about how my openness has invited unwanted attention in the past. And Wendy said something very similar where it felt dangerous, or, actual risk of life. So I think, I want to speak into that. It'd be powerful.
Yes, thank you for sharing that, you guys, and thank you, Rebecca, for bringing this forward and posting those questions on the screen. I see Gracie says, thank you, that resonated, so I'm glad to see her say that. That's exactly where I wanted to go next, so thank you guys for being so present and sharing exactly what's really coming up for you right now, because ultimately the question that I wanted to ask you guys, after I've described what it looks like and feels like to be open, I'm curious, when you ask yourself, like, am I really doing that? Have I been open? Have I been open? Am I open? And if the answer is no, I want you guys to be with why. Why do I choose not to be open? And so that's what, in the sense, you guys are answering that question already, those of you who shared that. And for the first step, I just would love for you guys to just share in the comments. So thank you guys for leading in that way, those of you who already are doing that, because the first step is really about bringing so much love and tenderness and just I was going to say spewing it out, but like spit it out. What is that resistance? What is the fear? What is keeping you from being open? And when we bring this to the light with so much love and compassion, we start to see it differently. We start to glean whatever wisdom there is to be gleaned from that thing for us, which could be really unique. Like there could be a lot of women who resonate with what Jackie was saying, and then there could be another theme present for the group. And so for those of you who are courageous and feel comfortable doing that, I would love for you to share, what is that for you? And as with all, fears and also wounds from our past, I think the first step is this, it's so powerful in just acknowledging, like, rather than me being like, let me coach you out of this. Like that is, for me, that is one of my biggest pet peeves, is like, let's be extremely vulnerable, pull this vulnerability up to the surface, and then let me just like try to coach you out of it. That's not what we do here. That's not, to me, that's not how we resolve things. The first step is to bring it to the light and acknowledge the crap out of that thing and validate ourselves for, oh my gosh, like it makes so much sense. It makes so much sense that you would feel afraid to be open because of unwanted attention that you got, or because of these dangerous situations that you were in, right? It makes so much sense that, it's like having empathy for that fear. This is the way through, is softening into that and having compassion for these parts of ourselves, right? And looking at too that, there's two sides to this. It's like he responds to you, and it is so empowering to recognize who you be causes these results, right? There's also something to be said for the moments when it's not our responsibility that someone harmed us. And so that, obviously, that is like a delicate space we're entering. And I never want you guys to be in the space of like, oh, well, I caused that, right? I caused that mistreatment of me. And so this is where discernment, I know it came up yesterday. I watched the entire recording. It was amazing, Rebecca. Discernment came up yesterday too. And so I want to blanket this topic with that, because I know, there's different experiences everyone has had here, and some could be traumatic. So yeah, Rebecca, is there anything you want to add to that? I know we're in like sensitive time, but it's so relevant to so many people.
Yeah, it was actually a question that came through when Jessica's here. Hi, Jessica. When you were sharing, if for all the women who struggle to be open, and shared the example of Jackie and Wendy around the fear of inviting danger. And then I love how Chelsea's asking us to all look at, like, what is that for you? And you said, why? Right. And another question that I love that is so connected to that is, first of all, letting our rational brain, like, just take a nap, like remembering that whatever comes forward does not need to make sense. And the question is, what am I afraid of might happen if I am open?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what am I afraid of might happen if I am open? Right. And looking at, and then just starting to go there. And remember, we're asking you guys to go somewhere that you most likely usually don't go. But this is where the transformation happens.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's already, if there's a lack of openness, there's already a block that's already present that we're wanting to melt and have you move through, because that's where your dream love life looks. So when we ask the question, why, or we ask, what are you afraid of might happen if you are open, really, really sitting with it and letting your brain and heart start to go there, right? So I'm going like this because you're really having to look, right? It's not convenient. It's not right there, right? It is right there, but it's not something that we so much go and look at because maybe it's uncomfortable or it's painful or we have to revisit heartache, whatever that is. And I love, Chelsea, that you're bringing to the forefront, or that you're having us look at and understand, yes, he responds to you, and circumstances and things or events that may have happened, that mentality of you having co-created isn't necessarily what's correct or needed in those moments, right? So I love that you're mentioning that as well, because there can be then this undercurrent of guilt and shame and it's my fault and all of that our world on a very subconscious level carries, that we're here to eradicate and to support you in dissolving that, because you are all inherently good. So that is it.
Thank you for saying that so beautifully. I totally resonate with that. And I love Jessica's comment. I'm going to touch on it in a moment, but something that I do want to say for the women who are having possibly past traumas come to the surface as you answer that question, like, why am I not open, or why am I afraid to be open? And when obviously we're inviting you ultimately to open, right? That is where we're going with this conversation. And however, we're inviting you to be open to a very specific energy, right? We are inviting you not to just be this, undiscerning open magnet for any and all energies to come in. So when we have this sensitivity come to the surface, this fear, this pain, this is something we can do to comfort that, is like, well, we do get to protect ourselves, and we are protected, and we are only open to, it's like reclaiming our power and reminding ourselves and declaring what we're open to and what we're not open to, because it is in the same breath that when we say what we are open to, we are equally in that moment saying what we are not open to. So there's a fierce power behind this, of discernment, of self-protection, of self-honor. And again, obviously the disclaimer with all of this is not taking it on and beating ourselves up when unwanted attention comes in. That is not where we want you to go, but we are fanning your flames and stepping into this energy of, I can choose what I'm open to, and I can do my best, to walk in alignment with that and to embody what it is I'm open to, so that I'm a match for it. And really feel that power inside of you to discern, and feel that power inside of you to declare with a fiery passion inside of you of, this is what I'm available for. These are my standards, and this is what I'm not available for. And we're inviting you to be in that open energy towards the high quality, refined type of divine masculine energy, right? So that there's a big distinction there. And so hopefully that can soothe a little bit of where that fear is coming from. There's so many amazing comments, and I'm like, okay, I have so much to say, but this is so perfect. And I'm going to pause and check these comments.
And you guys, also just a reminder that Chelsea's doing bonus Q&As with you, where you can actually talk to her via Zoom.
See your face.
Yeah, and see your face. So make sure we've emailed those days and times were sent out as well. So just FYI, first we're going to get to as many questions as possible, and we most likely will not get to all of them. In our dream world, we would, but that's why we create the bonus call opportunities. So I would definitely take advantage of those because they're a massive value that are complimentary. And you can ask and share your specific challenges. And if you're nervous to do that, more the reason to lean in and to receive the support.
Thank you for that reminder. Yes, I'm so excited. That's literally why we created those, is because we know that like everything we're talking about is bound to bring up so much. And we know you guys are super, super committed to your healing and your dream relationship. And so we're like, how can we create an opportunity for them to get like everything they could possibly need in this challenge? And so I'm so looking forward to those calls with you guys. And we have topics we're going to be exploring during those calls. So yes, they're in your email. The link should be in your email. If you can't find it, ask us, we'll send it to you again. So looking forward to that. I'm scrolling up because, okay, Jessica said, afraid I will get crushed. Thank you so much for sharing that. That is like a version of what I think a lot of women feel around why they don't want to be open. It's some version of, I'm afraid I'm going to get hurt. And so Sunita says, mostly I was afraid of rejection. Hi, Sunita, by the way. She's one of my amazing clients inside the Feminine Way to Ravishing Love program. Elsie's in the program too. So happy to see you guys here. And I love how she said, mostly I was afraid. Past tense, wink, wink. Thank you for sharing your heart, Sunita. Okay, so there was another place. Okay, Jessica also said, I've been beating myself up for unwanted attention and not knowing how to shift it. So I hope that this helps dissolve some of that for anyone else who's feeling that way, that this is not about taking responsibility for, you know, people's disrespectful behavior. It's not about that harmful behavior, but it is about reclaiming your power to discern and to attract a very specific type of energy. And so I would love for you guys to share in the comments, what is it that you're open to?
Like, what do you want, sort of thing?
Yes. So when we're asking you to be open, what are you open to in men, in dating? And so obviously, yes, it's a version of saying like, what is it that exactly you want? I feel like I know what you want, but I think it's fun to just for your own, like being in that energy of, okay, what am I open to? What am I declaring? Yeah. What is it? What are the qualities in masculine energy that you're open to, that you're wanting in divine masculine energy?
Yeah. I would love to share something briefly with the theme of, it's really interesting looking at the theme of like, I'm like, what if I get unwanted attention? So therefore, right, naturally, you just don't even want to look at guys. I always share the story of like, I literally would glare. Like if a guy checked me out, I would go like this, like, what are you looking at, bro? And I'd look away and then I'd wonder why I was single. But also allowing this, as you guys are going to continue to be open and to call in what you truly want, the divine masculine, protective, loving, who adores you, you know, all these things are important to you. Also, it's an opportunity to deepen trust in yourself and to own your voice. Because when you trust yourself to create boundaries, girl, woman, you literally, your wings expand like exponentially, because you're like, I can be the biggest, brightest light. And do moths come to the light? Yes. So right, not that we don't love moths, but it's just an analogy. I was seeing this opportunity of, actually, I don't like that's no, I'm not available for that. Right? Like really reclaiming and returning to the queen in you who already lives. And I also want to highlight that as you guys are doing this, you are unchaining from lineage of trauma, not just in this lifetime maybe of experience, but from grandma, grandpa, like different, you know, things that have happened in history where there's an opportunity for you to reclaim your voice in a way of grace and trust. And so I just want to plug that in, because there's a theme of what I was feeling of the undercurrent of maybe not owning this, right? And as we literally speak words and we create and we say, this is important to me, or no and yes, we're healing so much. And it's not always comfortable. When, you know, it's really not. When I first got this whole reclaiming of my womanhood, it was like, honestly, death in a lot of ways, but the most freeing, liberating thing. So just know that as you're choosing to be open and spread your wings, that I always see it as like it's an opportunity as well. And we will continue to support you guys, and boundaries, is I see boundaries coming up a lot. So there is this timeline where you, each and every single person listening to this, is so great at setting boundaries, and you just feel good about it. And with the self-trust around setting boundaries, you're that much more likely to put yourself out there in a way to attract the right person for you. And I'm complete.
Thank you so much for going there, babe. It's so incredibly practical and relevant, and something I think you touched on at the end of yesterday that I want to, that this is so related to too, is that really what this energy is to me of boundary setting, using your voice. Ultimately, you're stepping into your own divine masculine energy, which we have both, and both are absolutely needed in every human being and in our lives in order to thrive. And so I want you guys to just feel what it feels like in your body to have your own back, and what it would feel like to effortlessly. So like close, yeah, I love how Rebecca's closing her eyes. Close your eyes if you're in a place where you can do that. Close your eyes and just feel like, to me, this is, I feel it on my back and I feel it in my core. But this energy of power and stability, like it's really like you're this graceful warrior goddess. And how I would feel to know that no matter what situation you might be in, you will powerfully use your voice, and you will powerfully be heard and respected and honored. And what it feels like to have that level of deep honor and protection for yourself. How does it feel to receive that from you? How does it feel to have your feet firmly planted, knowing that literally nothing could push you, nothing can sway you from your truth and what you need, standing in your needs, standing in your boundaries? And let's just take a few deep, long breaths into that space, feeling how good it feels to be this strong and this stable, this discerning, and this protected. And feel what it would feel like to open your mouth and speak and have your voice be so amplified, like without even needing a microphone or speaker. Imagine that your voice could literally fill an entire amphitheater. What would it feel like if your voice was that strong and you just heard that echo and like the reverberation of your voice being heard and respected? And just taking note of these body sensations and how this feels to you emotionally, and just taking a little snapshot of this feeling, and know that this gets to be your home. This is becoming your home base for your embodiment and how you move through life and how you interact with the world, with people, with men, in every setting. And just taking your time, gently releasing that whenever you're ready. Great job, you guys. How did that feel? I see Amelia says, hell yes. I love that. I love that. And Jessica says, boundaries would be life-changing for me. So beautiful. She had said earlier, I haven't been setting boundaries. Gracie says, deep alignment and commitment. I love that. So when you have this really powerful, activated, divine inner masculine energy, taking care of yourself, you will be mirrored that back, right? Like you will attract men who have those qualities. Kelsey says, yes, chills. She said chills for a second. Yes, chills. So good. I got me. I hear me. I feel amazing and so empowered. Thank you, ladies, so much. I'm so glad you feel that way. And it's like from this place, you are open. You're open to being honored. Like that's what you're open to. When you honor yourself, you're open to honor from men, from the people around you. It doesn't mean there aren't still dishonoring men out there, but it means that the ones that are going to honor you will be drawn to you more strongly, because in the energy of not, like, am I allowed to say the F word on YouTube Live?
Yeah.
I literally had that thought, like, Chelsea,
I don't
like,
know.
we don't want to get like flagged and have this taken down or something. Try not to say fuck. Okay, so like the energy of like I can't be fucked with. Like men who want to dance in those games, and like there's no room, and they're not even interested. So again, this isn't saying that crazy things can't happen, but this weeds out a lot. This embodiment, this energy is going to make your dating experience so fun, where you can focus on, it's like the respect, the honor, all of that is a given. And from that place, it's like such a strong foundation to like really enjoy getting to know these people, and really enjoy like the adventure and the fun and the play and the spiritual connection, because the foundation of safety and honor and respect is already there. And so 100% when you embody this for yourself, you are paving the way for those types of men. And there are so many men who like, this is who they be. This is who they be for their sisters, for their brothers, for their mom, for their grandma. Like, and when we're embodying this, we start to see those men more and more. And there was a time in my life where like, I literally thought men sucked and like I hated men on some level because I hadn't respected myself yet. And the only kind of guys that I ever attracted were, besides my relatives, my family, but besides them, I was like, they're the only exception. All other guys on this planet are lame and can't give me what I want, all this stuff. Amelia says, yes, they're out there. Yes. So anyways, I used to have that relationship or that experience of men where I didn't see the men who honored women. I didn't see it because I wasn't honoring myself, and also therefore was just unavailable. And at a time, not even attracted to the men who were honoring, right? So there's this whole transformation that happens from the inside out, so that you know, going back to that story of how like initially I was a little bit repelled by my husband when I met him, because there was a calibration inside that got to happen. And so that's what we're talking about now. We're talking about raising your standards, and we're talking about healing your relationship with yourself, and like asking the question, am I being my sexy dream partner? Am I being that today? Am I being that in this situation? Right? Yeah, I hope that makes sense. But that's how it feels, is like you have that divine masculine partner inside of you. Let me scroll up. I love this.
One thing I want to share really quick. I laughed at Jackie's how it says, what about Mothman that wants to challenge your boundaries? I was laughing, but my favorite, and this is if you're dating someone and they're consistently walking over a boundary, you're in a relationship and they're consistently walking over a boundary. I heard this and it went like to my soul. I was like, oh my goodness, it's still going to always stuck with me. So I'll share it with you. If someone crosses a boundary, it's actually because you didn't draw the line in the sand deep enough. I was like, holy smokes, that's very true. So really like that level of feeling empowered or being empowered of like, wow, if Mothman, I'm choosing to keep dating Mothman and he's not honoring that, whatever it is, it's looking at where have I wavered? Am I being, and then looking at what would it look like to be unwavering in this value, because boundaries come with values, right? So if you're really grounded in your values, the boundaries naturally take place. So looking at where am I selling out on myself or undermining the importance of this value to me, and just looking at what would it look like to anchor deeper into this value. Who would I become? What would become possible in my life? So there's a few questions to play with, but I love that Jackie asked that, because I'm sure other people were thinking or experiencing it, and that's it.
Thank you, babe. I love that. Yeah, it's like if these things are coming up, they're coming up to challenge you, as an invitation of like, I don't hear you. What was that? Like, what was that boundary? Like, how much do you respect yourself? Like, what are you willing to walk away from? What are you willing to lose to stay in alignment with yourself, right? And to honor yourself. I love that you brought up values and boundaries, and we're talking about valuing yourself, right? Too. So I love that so much. And I'm just going to scroll up. I want to read in a moment some of these things you guys said that you're open to because they're so powerful and like giving me chills. But there was something else I was going to read as well. Rebecca says, draw your boundaries with the Sharpie, not chalk. I love that. Yes. Jackie says, he went away when I stood my ground. Yeah. So like, really, I love how yesterday Rebecca was talking about this a lot. Dating is about you, right? Like it's all about you. And these are all opportunities to look at what gets to be resolved. Like everything that you experience in dating, I really see it as like it's wanting to help you. It's wanting to bring you closer, like all of life. You have the opportunity to see life and to see dating through this lens. It's all supporting you, like bumpers when you're bowling. Like the bumpers are like, oop, not that way, oop, not that way. Like, you know, these things come up to help guide you towards like the target, which is that perfect dream relationship that you're wanting, that dream love. And so these challenges are really opportunities to resolve anything that's keeping you from being open to what you really want, right? So I'm going to read some of your declarations, and then there's a couple really powerful questions I feel called to answer. I'm just going to scroll up. Amelia says,
before the end of this live, we will give you your challenge of the day. I
yes.
still keep literally like it's 8 p.m. They don't have much time. It's so not true.
I know it's been like that for me too. I got up very early, so I'm like, is it like dinner time yet? Amelia says, I'm open to someone's secure, spiritual, personal development. Oh my God, I have a habit of glaring in my past. We get to release the past. Carolina says, open to being loved, supported, protected, courted, to have a partner to grow together. Jackie says, a self-aware man who moves with integrity, who's in tune with his masculine and feminine sides, conscious and willing to work on self-improvement. I love this, you guys. Sunita says, I am open for trust, deep love, connection, presence, being adored, cherished, feeling safe and protected. And Kelsey says, a free and fierce, ravishing love, a protector with a soft heart, deeply devoted and passionate, health-focused, and super handsome, a king who is just perfect for me. I love this. Beautiful. I just wanted to read at least some. We don't have time to read all of them, but like when you have that opportunity to share what it is you're open for, to write it down or to speak it alone, but then also to be witnessed by other people, like all of these things just make it that much more the Sharpie versus the chalk. Like being witnessed, your energy of declaring is that openness. And so I love that you guys said yes to this invitation to share that. I love that. Okay, let's see. There was a question I'm looking for. Gracie asked the question, can you speak on how parents/family wounds play a role in romance? I feel like I was for a super long time the wounded girl attracting the wounded boy. Rebecca and I believe strongly that like your upbringing and your wounds from your past greatly impact your experience of love and in your dating life. So like what I was just saying, anything inside of you that needs to be resolved in order to receive the love that you want, it's going to come up in dating. It's going to be mirrored to you in dating and in relationship. And ultimately as this invitation to heal, as this invitation to reclaim past parts of yourself, like we were just doing with the voice stuff, right? Reclaiming your voice, reclaiming your boundaries. Often when we have issues with that, it is coming from our childhood. It is coming from our past. It's coming from a place of not having strong self-worth, it wasn't safe to have boundaries. It wasn't safe to have a voice. And so 100% your upbringing does play a role in usually what you're going to find challenging in dating and in relationship. But that's why it's a huge part of what we focus on in the work that we do here and in the work we do inside my group coaching program, which we've talked about. We have some women here. We'll talk about that tomorrow. There is one of our bonus coaching calls. I am specifically going to go into inner child wounds and give you guys my process and my take on how to navigate that and heal that. But I guess the last thing I want to say on that is you absolutely can heal from your past. and you absolutely can change what you find attractive and what you attract. And I talk about a lot is there's two types of attraction based on what feels familiar. We're always attracted to what feels familiar. And there's wounded familiarity, which is like, wow, this really reminds me of how I, like, subconsciously, this type of emotional unavailability, this type of man right now reminds me of how I felt as a child growing up. I felt alone, not understood, disrespected, whatever the thing is. So until we heal that, we're going to automatically fall into very similar situations in love that remind us of, our childhood and how we experienced love growing up. And the other type of familiarity is what I like to call soul familiarity, where you're attracted to someone. This is the goal when we do, this deep inner work you're doing this week. The goal is you naturally gravitate towards being attracted to people on like an essence level, on a soul essence level, where there's a familiarity there of like, it's a soulmate quality connection. And it's not based off of wounds. It's not based off of, the negative parts of your past. It's based on who you really are. And that's where true love thrives. And that's what you guys are all navigating towards. And maybe you've already seen that shift. Like Gracie said, I used to be for a long time more in the wounded energy. This is the natural progression when you do this work. You become aware of the wounds. You become aware of the patterns. And the moment you're aware, you have your power back, right? And then it's just a matter of following those bumpers in the bowling alley, right? When you're bowling and not straying away from that, right? But instead allowing yourself to keep choosing from a healthy, healed place, right? Mm-hmm. So I just thought that question was so relevant. It's so relevant to the work that we do. And I'm so excited. It's something I love supporting my clients with. So I really wanted to touch on that. And for anyone who has more questions about that, definitely don't miss that bonus coaching call. We're going to go way deeper into that. And I'm going to guide you through some really fun processes. Gracie says, that's amazing, because I think that is probably why things feel so dangerous and unsafe. It's childhood stuff. Thank you. I have done so much clearing, but you ladies are so fresh. Thank you. Mm-hmm. I'm so glad. You're welcome. Jackie says, yes, Wendy, drawing a strong boundary, which is putting up a stone wall. LOL. I love that. Okay. Shall we, for sake of time, shall we get into the challenge?
Yes, absolutely. And I love all these questions, and the engagement and the interaction is always my favorite. So thank you guys so much. I know, and we could do this forever, which is why you do this forever. You're so good.
I will.
So the challenge for today is you're going to be open. You're going to flirt. You're going to smile. You're going to wink, at least one wink. And you're going to have open body language, right? Not like this, right? Is this approachable? Even if I was sitting here on this lap the whole time like this, right? You're going to be open. And your mantra, your declaration, your intention is, I welcome him to ask me out. So what does that feel like? Really think about that. If you truly welcome him to ask you out, what does that look like? I want you to come up with the answers in your heart. What does that feel like? Kelsey's the hearts and fire. I love that. What is that like? And welcoming, which we touched on, right? In the beginning, if he starts to walk, notice if you want to like go away because you're uncomfortable, right? Or you're like, oh, is he gonna, like, you try to create control by running the other way, right? Because when we welcome in a person to ask us out, we're inviting in the unpredictable, because we have no idea what they're gonna say or do, right? So then those fears can come up, right? And a good way to support you in this moment is, if that does come up, say, okay, what am I afraid might happen, but what's actually happening? So discerning, which Chelsea will continue to help you with this, discerning the past and the fears from the present and the reality, so we have a space to create your dream love life. Because we get to be open and welcome what we really want. So coming back to it, also, what Chelsea was asking, what are you really open to? What do you want? That's the undercurrent. That's the energetic, invisible base of what you're truly welcoming in. And then after you do that, go into the Facebook group and share. I did challenge day 2, and this is how I feel, and share. And if you need to get ready, I personally, when I get ready for the day, I feel I'm that much more likely to be open, right?
Yeah.
So if that's something that supports you, then let yourself get ready. Put on some lipstick, do your hair, like, allow yourself to do that. I always say I have like red carpet and then hobo. Like there's sometimes there feels like there's no in between. But and I love as well that Chelsea is going to do that inner child stuff with you. And it's so funny, you guys, because obviously if we led with come join this challenge to do inner child work, like it's not as sexy, it's like who wants to do that? But the truth is, what we want for you guys more than anything is a lasting partnership, right? Like Chelsea will share beautiful, extraordinary just stories of her and her 8-year marriage, and they're the sweetest thing, right? And when you look at the vision that you really want, what's truly important to you, it is looking at those childhood things. It is looking at those places sometimes we don't want to visit. But the truth is, when we don't, we continue patterns and we continue experiencing the surface Mothmen, right? The different relationships that we don't truly want. So just knowing the power of going into that is so potent and so beautiful. And we're also really excited about tomorrow's challenge day as well. And we will also share about the Feminine Way to Ravishing Love, which is an incredible program and opportunity for you to continue to receive this high level support from Chelsea to attract your dream partner on the bullet train. And it's so awesome to see several women who are inside Ravishing Love on this live as well, which I love it because I've also met you guys in person, some of you, not all of you, but at our live events. Everyone's liking red carpet to hobo. Oh, this is so good. Kid free today. Kelsey says kid free today. And mom is going out, welcoming him in and asking, I'm going to be open to wear a present everywhere we go. Yes, I love that. So give us a 1 just to declare that you're committed to doing that today. This is you declaring, right? Notice if any circumstances like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. We're like, no, today's the day. This is a challenge. So if it looks like extra, you got to go out in public and you weren't planning on it and you need to go to Home Depot and walk around to find a hottie, like do it. Yeah, Home Depot, there's always hotties. And remember, if a guy even looks, if you're like, oh, but he's not GQ status walking out a magazine or he's not Jason Momoa, still be open because a guy who's a 4 can actually turn into an 8 based on how he shows up and how you treats you. Trust me, I see it. Okay, Amelia says she's sick. Okay, so she has the vid. So what I would do for you then is get on an app, girl. Get on an app, go like some photos, say hey, like send winky faces, like just say you look interesting, right? Like flirt, be open. This is you also welcoming. Mm-hmm. So I recommend doing that. And go ahead, babe. I'm
I think we might, I don't know how many women here are possibly already in a relationship. Sometimes we attract women to this work who are in a relationship and they're like, really, they have that vision for what they want their relationship to be like. So if that's you, we came up with a challenge for you as well, which is to verbally appreciate something in your partner about his divine masculine energy. Okay, so that's 1. So that could look like maybe he's doing something around the house and you're like, oh my gosh, thank you so much for, gosh, why can't I think of an example? It makes you feel so relaxed when you take the trash out. That's like authentic to me because like clutter stresses me out. But you get my point. Like acknowledge something that he's doing for you, something that maybe you don't normally acknowledge verbally, and maybe you feel a little uncomfortable doing that. All the more reason to do it and be vulnerable because it's like that openness. I feel like I could save so much on this, but we can save some for tomorrow and for the bonus calls. But this principle applies in your actual relationship once you get into a relationship as well. So it's like he's responding to you always. And I actually have learned so much about this in my relationship, even more so than in my dating experiences of like, whoa, like he's responding to me all the time, who I'm being and how I'm being and how I'm speaking and what I'm open to and what I'm not. And so, yeah, I just wanted to let the ladies know you can play too in this. You can wink also at your guy. Like, when was the last time you winked at your man if you're in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
So I say do some flirting and winking in the kitchen today when you're cooking together or whatever. Yeah. So I wanted to add that in there as well.
Good. Thank you for reminding me of that. And then when you're, go ahead.
Challenge winners.
Yes, we're going to announce the challenge winner of yesterday, thanks to lovely Marie, who scouted her out for us. And it was so fun, you guys. I went and read all your posts yesterday. So when you go in there, I know what I'm responding to. So far, I've responded to everyone. So we love reading them. So go into the Facebook group, and even if, well, actually, I'm going to assume that everyone does it, but for some reason, like share anything like that. The intention is a community to be engaged, to be present. All the women are so supportive. You guys can cheer each other on, look at each other's posts. And remember, we're working on an intellect of the being. We live in the quantum. So as you guys do each challenge day, you're inviting him in ways that you least expect it. Okay, challenge winner is from yesterday, and she won the Date Smart Guide, which is a $100 value that you won for free. It's how to prematurely stop falling for the wrong guys and why that happens, and it's going to take you through this process, and it's also going to help you, it's going to take you through a process to deepen into the vision of what you truly want. And our winner for yesterday, I texted it to you, right, Chelsea, is
Yes, you did. I can find it.
Cardiff. Sorry if I said your last name wrong, but congratulations, Amanda. Everyone say, go, Amanda. So awesome. So we'll go ahead and make sure we get that over to you. Email support@thebravelady.com saying that you're the winner. No one fake being Amanda, just so you win. We're going to look at the email address. And in order to win, you simply go inside the Facebook group, share that you did the challenge and what opened up for you. And it's also a way to hold you accountable, because it's a challenge, right? And with challenges, we need accountability. And for me, I found with almost everything in my life, when I'm stepping into a new version of myself, accountability is the goal that helps me get there, right?
Mm-hmm.
With support, with people who are also on that same mission and have what I have, like, or have what I desire, like Chelsea does. So everyone says, go, Amanda. It's so awesome. Carolina. Oh, is there anything else that I'm forgetting or that you want to add, Chelsea?
I think that's it. I had like other things planned, but it ended up being so perfect because I loved the engagement and the questions so much. And I know what came through was what was supposed to come through. And I just want to thank you guys so much for your presence. Like, you guys were so focused and you were so open and so you were so open, wink, wink, and so vulnerable, and like, bless you all. You guys are amazing. And this made it so enjoyable to getting to interact with you all. And I'm so excited for tomorrow and for all the bonus calls as well. So thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chelsea. That was phenomenal. I'm glad that today's not the last day.
And we're just getting started.
I love you. Love you guys.